few other things like that.
No, I was going to emphasize it, but I'm glad Phyllis mentioned it about Israel gets it all in block, and so it is more than 3.8 when you think about investing 3.8 billion. So it comes out more than $5 billion.
In the United States and elsewhere, we spend a lot of time opposing Israeli occupation, and BDS is a sign of that. I wonder, given one of the apprehensions that the Israelis have that Palestinian demographics would overwhelm them, why it is that we here don't support a one-state solution in which Israelis are equal. That is, a Palestinian state in which Israelis would be granted all the rights of citizenship.
Let me begin. Actually, from a Palestinian perspective, we always, in the beginning, we always opted for the one-state solution. We really wanted one state. We always had Jewish people with us. There were Arab Jews, Palestinian Jews, Palestinian Christians, Palestinian Muslims. And it was very natural that we need to have self-determination, and we were hoping that we would have one state there. It is the Zionists who refused, because they knew what they wanted. And Britain at the time and other countries supported the Zionist option, which is they wanted their own state. And Ben Gurion at the time said, let's just begin with a small place. But eventually we will take more. They did not have a legal foothold in Palestine. And so they wanted to start, but it was very clear when you look at the documentation and history, they always wanted more than the two-state. But they wanted to begin with a state, even if it is small, because it will give them the legal footing, and then they will expand it. So we really wanted the one-state solution. And every time I talk about it, I always say, ideally, the ideal solution is the one-state solution. But Israel was very much afraid, because that means it's only a matter of time the Palestinians will outnumber the Jewish people. And now, it's amazing how things have changed historically, because now we're talking about the two-state solution. And now they don't want us to even have the two-state solution, in which we are only asking for 22% of Palestine. We are willing to accept Israel on 78% of Palestine and let the Palestinians have their little state on 22% of Palestine. And that's because Israel kept, when they took the 55% of the partition plan, and they were so successful, they started moving and taking more land, and when they stopped, they had taken 78% of Palestine. And now if they will accept the two-state solution, then we will only have the 22%. But now they're making it difficult to have that, to get that 22%, because they're building all kinds of settlements on the 22%. And what's very interesting, a few days ago in the United Nations, President Abbas, and this is the first time I hear him say that, he said, if not the two-state solution, we will be willing to go to the one-state solution so long as it is fully democratic state. So we're not refusing the one state, but I think according to international law and UN resolutions, we have to talk about a two-state solution. That's what the UN has agreed to. This is one line four. So you might want to ask.
Yeah, just 2 points to bring it a little more up to date. And that history is key to the legacy of how we got here. I think many people, many observers now believe that whatever one thinks about a two-state solution, it's just not possible anymore, because there are 650,000 Israeli settlers now living in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. 650,000 people are not going, that's almost as many people as were expelled from Palestine when Israel was created. So that number of people are not going to be kicked out. They're certainly not going to accept being citizens of a Palestinian state if that state was all of the West Bank, as well as Gaza and East Jerusalem. So it's, in my view, probably not possible. Again, as I said earlier, I think it's Naim's call, it's not my call, how many states, but it goes back to this question of what we demand in this country. And it's what you said at the end, the question of equality. That however many states there are is up to the people who live there. The nature of what our government is willing to support is up to us. So that's where we say, if there's one state, equality for all. If there's two, and we should be clear, international law and human rights does not give any particular group of people the right to be permanently in the majority. The idea, and it's new, just the last 3 or 4 years, there's been this call for the Palestinians to recognize Israel as a Jewish state. This is a new thing. There was always a call for the Palestinians to recognize Israel, which they did in 1988, when they accepted the idea of a two-state solution, this huge concession, as Naim just said. It was an enormous concession, giving up 78% of historic Palestine, and saying, we hereby recognize Israel as a sovereign state in the rest of it. They didn't say we recognize Israel as a Jewish state, because that would imply that it's fine for Israel to discriminate in all the ways we were talking about against non-Jews who live there, who are citizens or not citizens. The fact that some countries like Saudi Arabia have a state religion doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it a democracy. It doesn't mean the U.S. has to recognize that, let alone putting pressure on the Palestinians to recognize it. So this is something new, to recognize Israel as a Jewish state, as if that's something normal. There's nothing normal about it. But I would just end with the notion that it comes back to the question of equality. If we're going to have real equality, it can be within one state, within two states, and between two states. It can be in 5 states. There was an old saying years ago in the Palestine movement that said we really need 3 states. We need one for the religious Jews, one for the nationalists, the extreme Palestinians, and one for everybody else who just wants to get on with their lives and live together. However many states there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, equality is the key, and international law. So, yeah.
Let me say one other thing about this, because I've been very much involved and occupied with this. What would happen, as Phyllis said, there are over 500,000 Jewish settlers now on the West Bank, Palestinian, supposedly the Palestinian state. How do you do? What do you do with them? That's the big question. And we know from previous practice or previous history that these settlers are not going to leave. So I've been very much thinking about this for many years. And I'm going to tell you what I think. And I'm telling you, not all my friends agree with me. But this is something that I've been thinking about. I would say, let's have the two-state solution. And I take into consideration that inside Israel there are close now to 1 million and a half Palestinians who are Israeli citizens living there. So my reasoning is that on the West Bank, we will tell the settlers something new. I don't want to do to them what they did to us, because some of you know my story, how we were driven out at one point from my hometown, Nissan. So we would give them a choice. We say, look, if you would like to stay, you are living in Palestine. You're not. And either you'll have to be on a visa in Palestine, or you have to become Palestinian citizens in Palestine. You've got to pay your taxes to the Palestinians. You are on Palestinian, in the Palestinian state, living in the Palestinian state. Exactly like the Israeli Palestinians who are citizens of Israel and they pay taxes to Israel. So they will have to be, but you cannot be living in Palestine and pay your taxes to the Israelis. You have to know that you are going to become Palestinian citizens. And then the choice is theirs. If they want to go back to Israel, they can go. And if they want to stay, they have to become Palestinians. That's my simple, logical, I guess, solution to this whole problem. Because I don't know what Netanyahu is thinking, because Netanyahu knows that building more settlements, he's trying to block a Palestinian state. But if we can get around that and say, okay, all the settlers will have to become Palestinians, I don't know how they would think. And I think this is the quickest way for them to get out. And then we will make the settlements the home for some of the refugees that will be coming back into Palestine. That's my thinking.
Right, one more question, and then we're going to have our panel. Oh. She hasn't had an opportunity to ask. Oh, sorry. Take the table with me.
I think that BDS is a marvelous tool. What it makes me apprehensive is getting into the country the next time I want to go. Do you have thoughts on how to support BDS but still be allowed into Israel, into Ben Gurion?
I think most people here probably know that this is the latest in the Israeli laws against BDS as well, that says that it's illegal for any Israeli citizen to support a boycott or call for a boycott of the Israeli companies, and they don't make a distinction between companies operating inside Israel and those operating in the occupied territories. And they're also using it now. There's a new law that says they can exclude anybody who's a supporter of BDS. I think there's no guarantees. There's no way we can say, oh, if you do this, you will be allowed in. Most people are still being allowed in. They're choosing a few symbolic, I think it was not an accident that 3 of the 5, the people they kept out from that last delegation were the 3 tour guides, camp counselors, whatever you want to call it, the 3 tour leaders of the delegation, which was an interfaith delegation. So there was a Muslim, a Jew, and a Christian among them, and then 2 other Jews from Jewish Voice for Peace. None of that was accidental, who they chose. They were symbolic in a certain way. I do think that, again, it comes back to we're winning, and they're nervous, and that's why this is happening. We have to keep that in mind. It's more important that you continue doing your work as an activist here, in my view, than it is that you get in at any particular moment. It can be very sad that you won't be able to go back. Maybe you have family there, maybe it's just about doing the witness work, but you've been before, You know what there is to see. I haven't been to Palestine for some years. I'm sort of trying to figure out when I should go and how and if and all that. But I don't need that to do my work, nor do you. I don't think anybody has to go to be an effective advocate. We're talking about advocacy on U.S. issues, how we spend our tax money, what's the basis of our foreign policy. You don't have to go to see it. So if you have that in your head, then you go, you try to go. I mean, going is important. You bring back important information, all those things. I don't want to minimize that. But the reason you're going is to do your important work. The work is what's important, not your own ability to go and enjoy your friends there and whatever. So it's a harsh reality that has been imposed on us, but that's the reality. So my advice is, do your work, support BDS, support an end to U.S. support for occupation and apartheid. Go on delegations when you have the opportunity to. Assume you're going to get in. And if you don't, it's sad to come back and do better work, because now you'll have a new story to add to it.
May I add to this something that I know it's difficult, but listen to me, please. In one way, I'd like to think that it would be great if people go, not as individuals, if big groups go to Israel, to Ben Gurion. And if you are asked, all of you, big groups, say, we are for BDS, so that you would be either sent back, they will not put you to in jail. Because we really need that kind of publicity. The United States needs to face this. If there are enough people who are taking a stand, together. So it is not like one individual, like these 3 people, 5 people were asked to go back, and they came back. But we want people who can say, no, we are coming here, this is the Holy Land for us, I'm a Christian, or I'm a Jew, or I'm a Muslim, I need to go to pilgrimage. This is my right to do this, and I am very much for BDS, and so on. That kind of a gut feeling and guts and courage, we would love to see people do that. I mean, having said that, I know I'm an Israeli. If I go back and they read what I write about, they probably would put me in jail. They would not drive me out because I have nowhere to go. I have an Israeli passport, But still, we're talking to Christians here, and we would like for people to take a stand on this, so that Israel will start backing down, because Israel will be put under pressure hopefully by the United States, by Trump and his administration. If there is enough people, we're talking about big numbers. I'm just thinking about this. I have not worked it out in details, but I would love to hear some comments on it, or at least those of you who have some ideas. Let's work it out, because that's what we really need. People who take a stand for it, instead of saying, you're not going to say that you are for BDS. So I'm trying to think we need to face this evil that's really government has put on us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing a little more of your wisdom with us.